If you've ever faced a challenge or setback, questioned your path, or felt the need to start over and reinvent yourself, this next conversation is for you. Author Dally Yarbrough joins us to dive into his raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal memoir, A Night in Tucumcari. Welcome, Dally.
Thank you.
Now, your story is a life shaped by bold choices, unexpected turns from humble beginnings to a wide range of pursuits. Professional rodeo, football, touring with a country music star, building successful companies. But a defining moment that changed your path was one night in Tucumcari. What can you tell us about that night and your journey?
Well, it was a mysterious event that occurred in 1997 where I went from a rodeo in Dodge City, Kansas, and although it was witnessed and can't be explained, I ended up in Tucumcari, New Mexico, and there's a loss of time that can't explain itself. What I can say about that night is during that lapse of time, a mechanism was shown to me within my mind, similar to a Rubik's Cube that has compartments and codes and colors that allows me to interact with life, and it showed me that. Ultimately, what that night did was allow me to use this mechanism that exists in my mind to go on to professional stardom in many different ways, from rodeo to professional football to touring with a country music singer, and ultimately building multiple million-dollar companies. It allowed me to break a DNA cycle of the poverty that I grew up into and creating generational wealth where I am with my family today. But the answer to the question, The Night in Tucumcari, I think readers need to read the book to find out and decide for themselves what really happened that night.
Now, A Night in Tucumcari is a story of self-discovery and personal transformation and resilience, and how you can take control and take the reins and take control of your life. Now, you illustrate this brilliantly with the multifaceted cube that's featured on the cover. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the cube on the cover is like a Rubik's Cube, and this is what helped me. It's a mechanism that I've determined is in my mind that has 6 sides, 6 colors, 6 dimensions. Each color representing a process in how my mind interacts with life and thoughts. Yellow being ambition, drive, purple being deep thought, red being all things bad, blue strategy, green love, but white is ultimately the goal. And as my mind works through problems, it tries to align all of the colors so that white can be what helps me make the decisions and interact with life so that the outcome is a win for all.
Now, you've written this powerful memoir, and you're not even 50 yet. Yet it seems like you've lived so many lifetimes. Dropped out of high school, saw success in rodeo, football, country music, even a whiskey business. How did that spirit of exploration lead you on the road to success?
None of it was easy. You mentioned a difficult childhood, dropping out of high school, baptism by fire. I never said no, anything that ever came my way. I lived by a motto, a rolling stone gathers no moss. And so anything that came my way, I just tried to figure out how to make it a win for everybody.
Now, this memoir takes readers on a wild ride, but it's also a potential blueprint. What do you hope readers take away from this story?
I think there's information throughout the entire book that will serve as almost a roadmap for the reader to find information in there that they can dig within themselves and be able to utilize that information to stand up in their own story.
Now, you released this book back in late April. What has the response been like, and what's next for best-selling author Dally Yarbrough?
Well, like you mentioned, it's a bestseller on 6 different categories on Amazon. I'm scheduled to go in and start the audiobook, which will be available on Audible and other platforms. As far as what's next for me, I thought this was it, but what I discovered is that during the process of creating wealth, which was ultimately to gain freedom, and it's done that, I realized that ultimately I was chasing time. And so now for me, it's about mastering the time that I have left, because time's the most valuable commodity we have, and it's the only one that we can't replace or make more of.
If I may make a prediction, this might be a screenplay, perhaps?
Somebody has reached out to me to discuss that.
All right, so maybe on a screen near you sometime soon. Well, you can find your copy of this book, A Night in Tucumcari, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Dally, we thank you so much for your time and sharing your remarkable journey.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And we thank you for joining us on San Diego Living. We'll see you next time.